Chosen ones, why do you feel like you don't really fit in with your family? Really? Because you are just too different from them. You are the one in your family that is very, very awake. You're very spiritual. You're highly intuitive. And you just see past the veil. You see through all of those illusions. And your spiritual gifts are so strong that you are on this level. The rest of your family is at a different level than you are. You're always on a different vibration than them. It's like you're in a whole different dimension almost, like a different world than they are. You know, you see your family, they are so sucked into this world, sucked into the matrix, sucked into, you know, whatever it is that the world tells you to do. They are so programmed by it. You're out of the program. You've broken out of the matrix. You've broken out of that old way of life. And even beforehand, your whole life, you've always felt different. Now, before you even recognized and knew who you truly were, especially when you were a young child, you didn't realize why you were so much different from your family. It's because you always thought different. You had a different heart than your family. You loved different. You thought different. You had a different perspective. And you were the only one that had this heart. You were the only one that had this perspective or had this mindset. The rest of them didn't. They didn't see what you saw. They didn't see the visions that you saw. They didn't have their minds go into the same way that you did. So because you did not have someone that was on your wavelength, because you didn't have people that would understand where you were coming from, you felt like the oddball. And many times they probably ostracized you and made you feel like the outcast because you always were so independent. You marched the joint of your own beat. You didn't want to conform to what they did. You wanted to do what you wanted to do. You believed in independence, not conformity. You know, it'd be tiny little things like everyone would decide on what they wanted for dinner, but you would want something else. And they would say, you always gotta be different. Yes, exactly. I do have to be different because I know that I would rather do what I want to do and stand on my truth than to conform to something that I don't really want. And you see, your independence often intimidated them. Because you had the courage to be independent, it bothered them because they couldn't be as independent as you are. And now as you're becoming more spiritual, you're becoming more awake and you're raising your vibration and you're doing so many great things and you are your higher self walking. You really don't fit in with them now because you're on such a high vibration that they can't even reach you. They can't even understand you. But it's okay because that's not your real family. Your family, they're not your soul family. They're not your family from your soul tribe. A lot of times chosen ones, get out of my voice though. A lot of times chosen ones, you were born into karmic families. You have karmic parents. You have karmic siblings. There's a lot of, you know, when you are born into a karmic family, it seems as if you can never win for losing with them. It seems as if no matter what you do, how good of a person you are to them, how good of a daughter or son you are to them, how good of a sibling you are to them, brother or sister you are to them, it doesn't matter because it's like whatever you do is never good enough for them. You do so much for these people, give them so much unconditional love, and all they do is sometimes give you their ass to kiss. You do so much for them and just being such a good person, and sometimes they cannot fully receive you because they don't understand how a person that they reject and neglect and abandon so much can still have unconditional love for them. They don't understand that. But also, you know you're born into these karmic families when it's always conflict and strife with them. You're always going toe to toe with people in your family. And it's every single time you speak your truth, you feel as if your truth is not heard or not seen, and you feel as if your traumas are brushed under the rug, as if the things that you go through are just not that important. And you always feel as if there's always a double standard. You always feel as if everybody else gets the benefit of the doubt but you. You always feel as if your family doesn't even truly really care about you, because you can come to them with your problems and your pain, and sometimes they act so uninterested, or they give you apathy instead of empathy, and that hurts you. These family members are karmic family members. You're meant to learn lessons from these people. You're meant to learn what is right and what is wrong, and to always be righteous, to always do the right thing, even when it's difficult. And to know that when enough is enough and it's time for you to leave and end that cycle, to walk away and not look back. You can come back when you are healed and when you like to come back, if you want to. But when that cycle is over with, you got to end the cycle. These family members that you are living with, they stress you out, they drain you, they hurt you. And now your point is to learn how to maneuver around them, to learn how you can coexist in your life, in this home, until you can get up out of there while dealing with what they deal with. It's a huge lesson. Your family is your first teachers, your biggest teachers. You still love them.